Hey everybody, Juice here, back to talk more fight stuff. There was not a lot going on this week, so I was gonna originally talk about some of the non-UFC events that happened and talk about most of the fights that happened on the cards. But I really want to get into this Mayweather McGregor situation and the developing Cyborg Magaña situation. So let's dip right in. So first, let's talk Bellator. Rory MacDonald is back, came back and schooled Paul Daly, took him down and got the tap in the second. Rory looks good. Rory looks good. He looks smarter than ever, and I'm excited. I want to see him against the winner of Lorenz Larkin, and Douglas Lima whenever that comes. Lynn Vassell did Lynn Vassell things, and managed to get a win. Tapped out Liam McGreary in the third round with an arm triangle choke. Vassell never let McGreary get into any kind of rhythm, never let him get comfortable, and basically just smothered him. Baby Slice, Kimbo Slice's son, as everyone here most likely knows, got his first pro MMA win. Props to him. Good, good TKO win. Although the strikes that he landed to get the guy out of there were a little less than impactful, but we'll leave that for another day. Also, look out for Fabian Edwards, one of the guys on the undercard. He put just a brutal ass beating and a beautiful flying knee knockout on Rafal Sadrovsky. Want to keep an eye out for that guy. Okay, now let's move on to Saturday's event. Invicta FC 23 was live on Fight Pass from its home city of Kansas City. Less than stellar event, to be frank. Rare miss for them. Some good fights, but just nothing too spectacular. There was good names on the card, and they were very well matched against some tough, well-rounded opponents, which made a finish kind of hard to come by. Even notorious finishers like KGB had to settle for a decision. But there were good fights for the MMA aficionado. But the main and co-main events really delivered. Roxanne Modafferi in the co-main event, finishing Sarah Dulelli in the third round with some brutal elbows that just cut a nasty gash on her forehead, and had the bout stopped almost immediately. What a performance by Modafferi! The the best performance of her career, quite honestly. Um, she looked better on her feet. She looked the best she's probably looked thus far, and she did what she always does on the ground, and just dominates women. And had some rough moments, even more impressive because she was slammed on her head in the second round after some failed armbar attempts by the the monster, uh, as her nickname goes, the monster Sarah. She was dropped on her head, and it looked quite painful. And in the first round, she was dropped by a nasty punch that connected right on her jaw. She came back in the third, flurried, put these kind of awkward but still effective punch combos against the fence, took her down, landed the elbows, and that was about it. Um, props to Modafferi. Um, just such a savvy veteran, and good case point of this notion that you can't teach heart, and that you're either born a fighter or you're not. Um, Modafferi teaches that's nonsense. You can you can become tougher, you can become meaner, more aggressive, have more of a mean streak. Um, you just got to rewire yourself a bit and put in the hard work and determination, and you can be there. I'm very impressed by her. I can't say enough good things. Kudos, Happy Warrior. Main event: Agnieszka Niedzwiedz versus Vanessa Porto. Good fight, fun fight, tactical fight. Niedzwiedz had some trouble towards the end, but got takedowns, landed some really good strikes. She's melding her solid striking game with her solid with her solid judo game. solid grappling game very well now. She's melding the two much more fluidly, and the results are showing. She's showing all the heart, all the discipline, all the intelligence that you want to see of a fighter that young and that promising. To take out Vanessa Borda at this young of an age is no small feat. So look out for Niedzwiedz. Maybe she's even the de facto #1 contender now. And if Jennifer Maia comes back soon, we'll probably see that fight, and I can't wait because they're probably my two favorite flyweights. The only other notable highlights on Invicta was probably the fun fight between Tiff Timebomb and Christine Ferreira, and I was very impressed by Kelly Fashol's beating the snot out of an overweight and uninspired Elizabeth Phillips. She looked really good, and can't wait to see her fight again. But on now to the juicy stuff. So let's talk about this fight of the everything, fight of the year, fight of the century, whatever way they're going to try and promote it. This Mayweather versus McGregor boxing match. Dana confirmed this weekend that McGregor has signed his end. Now it's on to the hard part, getting Floyd Mayweather to agree. A guy who was very difficult to negotiate with in boxing, now dealing with a different sports promoter in Dana White and MMA, and something that Dana does not seem too fond of, in dealing with an athlete who is very demanding and asks for his fair share. But that's neither here nor there. Let's assume this all goes through and this fight happens at the end of the year. How many people assume it will happen? It's obviously going to sell. Everyone's going to buy into it. It's a once in a lifetime spectacle. But before I get into that, if we're going to be talking about spectacles, I want to just have some fun and talk about stipulations. We all know this can't be anything more than just a regular classic boxing match. 16, 14 ounce boxing gloves with shoes and a ring. I know people want to see some ridiculous things to make it way more difficult for Mayweather to try and win, to allow Conor to throw low kicks or takedowns or elbows. That's ridiculous, as is my idea that I'm about to say right now, because it would have happened, but I at least want to make it somewhat practical, something that's a bit more realistic, and something that I think will add enough intrigue without messing with the sweet science, because I am a fan of boxing and I want to see it. If I can't see it in its purest form, I'd like to see it in at least an old-fashioned way. What I'm advocating is same rules, nothing different, just punches, typical boxing rules, but should be wearing 4-ounce grappling gloves, MMA gloves. Should be set in a cage, and dirty boxing should be allowed. I think that gives McGregor enough of an advantage to makes it very interesting. Maybe not too big of an advantage, but we don't know until we find out, till we see. Let me know what you think of that. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? If it were to happen, would boxing fans like it? Would they approve? Do you care? Does that add any intrigue to you? Let me know. But now on to this point that I want to get to. I hear Jim Rome, Max Kellerman, big sports types talking about this on mainstream sports media, that the build-up and everything leading up to the fight will be bananas and it's going to be fun, but the fight itself is going to suck. I think they say that mostly because of Mayweather and his style and his track record of having uneventful fights. But I think many people think that this is going to be a 10, 12 round staring contest, very little happening, and I just don't see that happening. It is probable, but I think it's unlikely, because to assume that is to give Conor McGregor either way too much credit or not enough credit. Conor McGregor, I don't think can make it. I don't think he can make the distance, because I don't think he's well conditioned enough. I don't think he's well conditioned enough in MMA, and um, it sounds like boxing is way tougher, at least in the conditioning department. So I don't buy it, especially that it's a sport that he's never really done aside from some amateur fights. Um, that's going to be tough for McGregor. And as the saying goes, um, fatigue makes cowards of us all. And McGregor is tough, and he can hit hard, and he's dangerous. But when you're tired, um, he's given up many submissions in his career. I don't see why he wouldn't take a knee, or just succumb to some blows if Mayweather's feeling um, really confident. I can totally see that happening. I actually think this fight will end in a finish either way. I think McGregor's only chance is to knock Mayweather out, and Mayweather will most likely knock McGregor out because he will be tired. Um, Given those circumstances, I don't think that this could be a boring fight. I think it could have boring portions, but I don't think overall as a fight it will be boring. And I definitely don't think it can be any more boring than Mayweather Pacquiao. So at least you can hang your hopes on that. Okay, now on to the last bit of news. This Cyborg Angela Magaña drama. For those that don't know, quick fill in. There was a UFC athlete retreat this weekend that both Cyborg and Angela Magaña attended, and apparently Cyborg was really upset about some tweets and some comments that Magaña had made, and called her out on it out in the street, and tempers flared, and Magaña got punched, and according to Ariel Helwani, had her lips split open, but I guess that may or may not be true. But Cyborg undoubtedly hit her. There's a video surfacing now. Can't really tell much, but it is evident that she did get hit. This is bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. Just a week ago, we almost seen Daniel Cormier and John Jones go at it again, because no one can forget the first time they went at it and just bulldozed Dave Schaller through a dais. And then, of course, Kevin Lee, or I should say Michael Chiesa, acting a fool. Kevin Lee punching him for his troubles. As the line goes, the infamous line goes, sometimes these things happen in MMA. But this feels a bit different because it was in the street. It was literally out in the street. You can't call it a street fight because it wasn't really a fight. A girl just got punched. But I know. It seems like many people don't care or actually rooted for Cyborg. We're happy that this happened because Angela Magaña is a bit insufferable, or a lot insufferable, I should say. I get it. It's fun and or funny to mock Magaña. She's not a good fighter. She's not particularly entertaining. She has these crazy ass excuses that she makes anytime she loses a fight, including but not limited to skull fractures. She's a she loves she loves Amanda Bynes, and says so on her Twitter, and she talks mad shit and posts innumerable belfies. So she's a ridiculous, loony person. It's understandable why people might not like her. And Cyborg, of course, is very well liked, also very hated. Cyborg, I think, is easily one of the most polarizing, if not maybe even the most polarizing figure in MMA. Her PED, her history with PEDs, and her just being a bit ungrateful at times, has left a bad taste in some fans' mouths. And of course, Ronda Rousey fans are never going to be too kind to her. But on the flip side, the people that love Cyborg really love her. They have almost a cultish adoration of her, and by all accounts, seemingly down to a man, anyone who's had any interaction with Cyborg always seem to say that she's the nicest person and couldn't be any more grateful to her fans. That's nice to hear. You've seen videos of her training in a hijab to, um, in solidarity with women and Islam. Whatever your take on that is, at least it's a good gesture. But this is not. This is lacking of all character. Uh, Showed no discipline. Was just very emotional, which is nothing new. Anyone who's heard anything of Cyborg knows that she is a pretty emotional person, and that's fine. But it's not a good look. It's not a good look, especially when your arch nemesis is Howdy Honda House, the perfect example of a emotional mess. Cyborg couldn't keep her shit together and punched a woman. And when you're out on the street, that's assault. Magaña did press charges. Hopefully, she can, pay a fine or hopefully it's nothing too serious because that can mean no Cyborg fights. And whether you love her or hate her, I think everyone enjoys Cyborg fighting because she's a goddess of violence. I wrote an article, and I'm still advocating for her versus Megan Anderson, and the UFC doesn't seem to want to come out with any actual a statement on this. But if Cormier and DC, if Cormier and John Jones is not going to be the main event because John Jones is untrustworthy, I still think they should make Cyborg versus Megan Anderson the main event at UFC 214 in Anaheim in Cyborg's backyard against a legitimate featherweight and Megan Anderson, a dangerous featherweight, who is sure to get fans, win or lose. I think it's the right move, maybe not the most business savvy move, but I think it is an important move to make that can have some benefits if everything plays out right. Cyborg, be good. I understand, and honestly, I get where you're coming from. I think people should be held accountable for what they say too, and throwing haze isn't exactly smart, but it's human nature that you want to get back at someone who's been saying very mean, disrespectful things about you. But you're a proud American. You just became a citizen. I know you love this country, and there's different laws here. Sometimes it's not a lot of laws I agree with, and maybe I wish sometimes we could go back to the old days of just swinging it out and let the chips fall where they may. But times have changed, and Americans are a little bit softer, and you have to accommodate for better or worse. So hopefully this doesn't play out too badly. Hopefully Cyborg's back, and hopefully she's back in time for July, and hopefully it's against Megan Anderson. Regardless of the matter, it seems like Magaña still has a contract with the UFC, and there should be no reason of why this situation is not was not a fight. She's not gonna get cut because she got sucker punched by Cyborg. She's still under contract by all accounts, and a world where Cyborg is not under contract with the world's largest MMA promotion, and Angela Magaña is just not a world I want to live in. And Cyborg would have no one to blame but herself for that. So don't do that, Cyborg. You're better than that. And that's where I'm going to end this video today. As I stated earlier, comment down below on the Mayweather-McGregor stipulations, on what you think of the Magaña-Cyborg situation, of the Megan Anderson-Cyborg fight, the DC John Jones fight, whatever you want to comment on, you can get in the comments down below. And of course, you can always get at me, and if you haven't, please follow me and like my Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter at Juice_MMA. Same thing for Instagram, Juice_MMA. And you can like my Facebook page facebook.com/JuiceMMA. So that's it for me tonight. I hope to see you guys soon. I hope to make more of these. Please like it, share it, and I'll catch you guys soon.